Good morning and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful Monday morning. Out and sunny out here in Auckland. How is it where you are? Please let us know how you're doing and how it is like where you are right now. Thank you so much for joining in, and of course, who is joining in with you. And if you're like me, I hope you're enjoying your Thanksgiving break for this week. Thank you so much for joining in and welcome to Story Time. A very special story today as we celebrate this week family. We're celebrating family, and this one is called The Relatives Came, and it is written by Cynthia, Rylant, and illustrated by Stephen Gammell. Yes, indeed. Good morning to you and welcome to Story Time. Happy Thanksgiving week to you. And of course, if you do celebrate, happy Thanksgiving to you. And if you don't, of course, we just want to hope you that you do get your time off and enjoy it as well. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. Good morning to you. And please let us know where you're joining us from and indeed who is joining in with you. Nice and sunny out here in Auckland today. And yes, indeed, do catch Miss Limada out on a bike ride today, enjoying the day off. Yes, indeed. Good morning to you and welcome to Story Time. I hope you're ready for this one today. Yes, The Relatives Came by Cynthia Rylant and Stephen Gammell. And we're reading this one with permission of Atheneum Books, an imprint of Simon and Schuster books. Yes, indeed. Good morning to you. All right. Good morning to you, Ellen Edwards. Good morning. How are you doing out in sunny Chicago today? Good morning to you, Harmony Beth. Good morning to you right here in the East Bay. Thank you so much for joining us. Jane Pelletti. How are you doing? Jane Pelletti Zimba all the way out in Lusaka, Zambia. Good morning to you. And how are the little ones? Remind me their names, Jen. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Madalena Iron and Tudor. Good morning to you out in San Francisco. Happy Monday. Good morning to you. Jessica Fortino. How are you doing today with Desmond out in Gilroy? Yes, indeed. And you say it is cloudy here this morning. All right. Well, I hope the sun comes your way very soon. Good morning to you. Thank you so much, Jessica. And of course, Desmond out in Gilroy, good morning to you. Madalena Iron and Tudor in San Francisco, good morning to you. Ellen Edwards one more time in sunny Chicago with snow on the way. Well, enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ellen Edwards, as always. Madalena Iron and Tudor, you say, love this week's theme. Thank you for choosing it. Absolutely. Please do send those themes my way if you have any that you're thinking about, and indeed your recommendations as well, so we can read them right here on Story Time. Thank you so much for sharing that. Amanda West, good morning to you. You say, gray and chilly in Illinois. Chillinois. I love that. Sarah and Nathan, thank you so much. Good morning to you. Molly and Birdie, how are you doing? And of course, Jonathan, right, good morning to you. And you're saying you're actually in Auckland today. Well, good morning to you. Yes, enjoy the Auckland sun right now. Thank you so much for joining in. Yes, indeed, what brings you to Auckland today? Thank you so much for joining in. Jonathan, Molly, and Birdie, so glad you're here. Happy Thanksgiving week to you. I hope you get to enjoy it. Thank you so much. I hope you are on break like me as well. Thank you. Camille, good morning to you. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you're ready for this beautiful story. The Relatives Came by Cynthia Rylant and illustrated by Stephen Gammell. And of course, we're reading this one with permission of Atheneum Books. Atheneum Books for Young Readers, an imprint of Simon and Schuster Publishing. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much to all the publishers and authors who've allowed us to read their amazing books right here on Storytime. I am getting ready for this one. Please do get settled, get cozy. We're about to start our story. Good morning to you. Jane Pelletti, thank you so much. And you say, the babies are great. Absolutely love it. Great to know that. Charlotte, yes, and Jaden, good morning to you. How are you doing out in Lusaka, Zambia? Thank you so much for joining in. Molly and Birdie, Jonathan, thank you so much. I appreciate that too. Please enjoy your week off as well. Thank you. Marco, good morning to you, and Camille, thank you so much. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, let us get started with our story today to kick us off in our week of celebrating family. All right. So here we go. The Relatives Came, by Cynthia Rylant and illustrated by Stephen Gammell. And of course, we're reading this one with permission of Atheneum Books for Young Readers, an imprint of Simon & Schuster Publishing. It was in the summer of the year when the relatives came. They came up from Virginia. They left when their grapes were nearly purple enough to pick, but not quite. They had an old station wagon that smelled like a real car, and in it they put an ice chest full of soda pop, and some boxes of crackers and some bologna sandwiches, and up they came from Virginia. They left at 4 in the morning when it was still dark, before even the birds were awake. They drove all day long into the night, and while they traveled along, they looked at the strange houses and different mountains, and they thought about their almost purple grapes back home. They thought about Virginia, but they thought about us too, waiting for them. So they drank up their pop and ate up all their crackers and traveled up all those miles until finally they pulled up into our yard. Then it was hugging time. Talk about hugging. Those relatives just passed us all around their car, pulling us against their wrinkled Virginia clothes, crying sometimes. They hugged us for hours. Then it was into the house, and so much laughing and shining faces and hugging in the doorways. You'd have to go through at least 4 different hugs to get from the kitchen to the front door, for the front room. Those relatives. And finally, after a big supper 2 or 3 times around until we all got to turn at the table, there was quiet talk, and we were in 2s and 3s through the house. The relatives weren't particular about beds, which was a good thing since there weren't any extras. So a few squeezed in with us and the rest slept on the floor. Some with their arms thrown over the closest person, or some with an arm across one person and a leg across another. It was different going to sleep with all that breathing in the house. The relatives stayed for weeks and weeks. They helped us tend the garden, and they fixed any broken things that they could find. They ate up all our strawberries and melons. They promised we could eat up all their grapes and peaches when we came to Virginia. But none of us thought about Virginia much. We were so busy hugging and eating and breathing together. Finally, after a long time, the relatives loaded up their ice chest and headed back to Virginia at 4 in the morning. We stood there in our pajamas and waved them off in the dark. We watched the relatives disappear down the road. Then we crawled back into our beds and felt too big and too quiet. We fell asleep. And the relatives drove on all day long into the night, and while they traveled along, they looked at the strange houses and different mountains, and they thought about their dark purple grapes waiting at home in Virginia. But they thought about us too, missing them, and they missed us. And when they were finally home in Virginia, they crawled into their silent, soft beds and dreamed about the next summer. The end. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I hope you enjoyed that one. The Relatives Came by Cynthia Rylant and Stephen Gammell, and of course read with permission of Atheneum Books, an imprint of Simon and Schuster. Yes, indeed. I wish you that time, maybe next year, when you can be with your family, you can be with your relatives, yes, hugging and kissing, and yes, indeed, just spending time together. This year, please let us remember, we don't travel if you don't need to. Let us observe all the health protocols, and please be safe. And of course, we will get through this together. And yes, indeed, I hope that we can be driven on by the memories that we share from all the past celebrations, and as we look forward to the ones that are coming on next year. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I hope you enjoyed that one. The Relatives Came. Yes, indeed, kicking off our week celebrating family. And tomorrow we are back with another story, and this one we have some sibling love going on here with Carmela, Full of Wishes. Do join us for that one tomorrow. I hope indeed you enjoyed this one today. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. And if you're like me and on your Thanksgiving break, please enjoy it. Take your days, relax, read a book, enjoy it, enjoy the sun outside as it is pretty today. And if in your area it is snowy or cold, chilly like Chicago, please, I hope it gets better, or I hope you find ways of enjoying it all the same. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Let us see who was with us and got to enjoy that beautiful story. Marley and Birdie, one more time. And to you, Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us. And today, joining us from Auckland. Yes, indeed. Good morning to you. Happy Thanksgiving break to you indeed. Thank you so much for joining in. Marco and Camille, thank you for joining us. It has been a minute. I am so happy that you are here today. Juanita Towns, good morning to you. How are you doing? Good to see you here. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you have yourself a beautiful break. Yes, indeed, and I hope you get to enjoy your time with your family that are around you and in your bubble. Thank you so much for joining in. Tendai Chineva, Ethan, Ian, and hear this, Marlon, I did not forget. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Ethan, Ian, and Marlon, thank you for joining in. Tendai Chineva, as usual, thank you so much for joining us out in LA. I hope you enjoyed that book today, and I hope you join us tomorrow for Carmela, Full of Wishes. Yes, indeed, a story about sibling love. Yes, indeed, do join in and join us for that one. Oscar Mwanakulanga, how are you doing all the way out in Katete, Zambia? Good evening to you, my brother. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you. Much appreciated. My love to the family. Thank you. Good morning to you. Darina, joining us from Chirundu, Zambia. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining in. Wambamsa, I hope you are doing great. Thank you so much. Much love to you, my dear. Thank you so much. Christina Voorhees, how are you doing? Joining in with Savannah right here in Auckland. I hope you enjoyed that one, and I hope you join us tomorrow for another exciting story. Good morning to you. Harmony Beth, happy sunny Monday indeed. Oh, yes, indeed, missing those gatherings. Absolutely with you, especially the hugs. But yes, we can look forward to more next year, or hopefully soon. We'll be able to see our relatives. Thank you so much for sharing that. Harmony Beth, yes indeed, and for sharing those memories indeed. Thank you so much for joining in. Camille, thank you so much, and to you as well. Much appreciated. Marco, have a beautiful day. Tanisha, Benjamin Champion, how are you doing? Good morning to you. Thank you so much. Oh, absolutely love seeing you here. Thank you so much, Miss Champion. Have yourself a beautiful day, and indeed, I will be in touch very soon. Thank you so much. Christina, one more time. Juanita Towns. Oh yes, Jayada, are you back as well? Thank you so much. This is why I love reading when there are breaks, because then we get everybody back, everybody in, enjoying beautiful stories. Thank you so much, Jayada and Marco. Camille, thank you so much for joining in today. I am glad. I hope we spend this week together. Thank you so much for joining in. Lydia Yamaguchi out in Berkeley. Good morning to you. How are you doing? And say, looking forward to more hugs someday. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful story. Please do remember, all the books that we read on Storytime can be found at your local library, or indeed check out the link below on where you can get yourself a copy. The Relatives Came by Cynthia Rylant and Stephen Gammell, and read with permission of Atheneum Books for young readers, an imprint of Simon and Schuster Publishing. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you have yourselves a beautiful day. Do join us tomorrow for another amazing story, and I hope you have people around you that you can give a hug to. Please remember, if you do not need to travel, do not travel. Stay at home, observe the health protocols, and indeed enjoy all the hugs and kisses when we are able to do so safely. Thank you so much. Much love from me as always. I will see you again tomorrow with another exciting story with Carmela, Full of Wishes. Do join me for that one tomorrow. For today, please enjoy the day. Enjoy yourself. Have yourselves a beautiful, beautiful time. And yes, indeed, see you in the morning. Bye-bye.